There we go, good fish. It's just the way she's fighting in the shallow water. She's a tank. Oh, she's a tank. Well, good morning, everybody. Today we're doing some early winter bass fishing from the bank. It could be challenging, but I think we're going to be able to get on some nice fish today. So we're going to be starting out with some lipless crankbaits. Got a kind of a wide variety. All Cordell's, really just different sizes. We got some blades and various soft plastics, probably leaning heavy on paddle tails and tubes. This time of year can be pretty tricky targeting largemouth from the bank. I kind of really went out on a limb here, hitting this area in the first place. I'm not too comfortable with it for cold weather fishing. Also, we have a nice smallie bite on, so I kind of ignored that and decided to try to get a good day into chasing largemouth. So temp-wise, we're dealing with, I'd say roughly 45 right now. Looking at getting into the 50s today though. Not too bad, but this water's still pretty cold, so we'll try to find where they're sitting. Hopefully I can pull some at this spot. Might have to do some jumping in order to find these fish, but this area is typically pretty good for largemouth. We're really gonna know within a couple casts what kind of bite we're in for today. I've only attempted to fish this in colder weather one time, and I caught 2 fish, man. Only one of them was a bass. There we go, fish on. That didn't take too long. All right, man. We found him. He's nice. It's decent. Tighten up this drag. First little cold weather bass. Come on in. Oh yeah, he's decent for sure. Beautiful, guys. Look how pale she is. Came from the depths. Well, thank you so much for biting. I have to show you off. Our first fish of the day in a beautiful early winter largemouth. Look at her. I mean, look at that coloration. She's so pale. Really, really beautiful fish. We'll get her back in. She's got some red lips going on. Tell she's been munching on some craws. All right, thanks for biting, girl. And oh, wrong way. There she goes. That didn't take too long, and a crucial confidence booster for this area, man. Let's get some more fish on. So the skunk has been diminished on that 2.75 inch Strike King Bitsy tube with the 1/8 ounce tube head jig in there. And I think we're gonna have a good day. That didn't take very long at all. Now, winter bank fishing for bass can be extremely challenging. This time of year really separates the dudes out there in boats cruising around, hitting those deep holes, using their sonar and whatnot, from dudes kind of stranded up here on the bank, even in a kayak, trying to get lucky out here. A lot of these fish are out deep. A lot of them are harder to catch. I rely heavily on moving baits, whereas Ned rigs, jerk baits are excellent winter options if you know where fish are. Something like this instead of a Ned rig just goes a really long way for me. I'm able to slowly pop this like a Ned rig if I so choose. I can also cover a lot of water with it, swim in it, still maintain that smaller profile. Whereas someone might be throwing a jerk bait. For me, I prefer a lipless crankbait. It's all about covering water for me this time of year. I need to identify the dead spaces. I need to find bait fish out here, find active feeding bass, and kind of key in on them. And these baits really help me do it. So paddle tails, tubes instead of Ned rigs, I guess, if you're a tube thrower like I am. Lipless crankbaits, square bills, even divers, those sort of things are extremely useful tools in this colder weather. You're not really gonna find me kind of slowly popping a craw or a worm. I'm gonna be working something that represents a bait fish, really, more or less. and something I can cover a ton of water with. Now, let's get that lipless crankbait out here, make some noise, see if we can get any fish to bite before jumping over here. So color-wise, with these baits, I prefer off-whites, shad type, that sort of deal. There we go, good fish. Oh yeah, on that lipless. She's got some weight to her. Come on in. It's just the way she's fighting in the shallow water. She's a tank. Oh, she's a tank. Absolute unit. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now that's some cold water bass fishing. And get some pliers. I didn't gut hook her, but I got her right above the gills. I got her really far back there. Just an absolutely beautiful fish. Now look at her, my friends. Look at the size of her. She's got some weight to her. I gotta get her back in pretty quick. I didn't hook her in the gut or the gills, but I did get her right under the tongue, and she's bleeding a bit. Beautiful, beautiful tank. And off she goes, man. Beautiful, beautiful fish. All right, so we're doing a little bait swap. I'm in the same area, same body water, I should say, completely different area. I made the hard call to really stick around here. I was on that tipping point for time, whether to relocate to a completely new body of water or not, because I've been fishing this area for about 2 hours. I caught my first 2 fish within the first hour of being here, really within the first 30 minutes or so. I've decided to stick it out here. This area just shows me big bass potential. They were shallow enough to catch. Might be able to get some more if I continue to jump around. We're switching over to a paddle tail. This is a 2.5 inch by Rapala, the old 2.5 inch Mayer. Awesome little bait right here. Is that a fish or a leaf? Oh, it's a fish, dude. We had one on. Oh my goodness, man. I thought for sure that was a leaf. I didn't try to really give it a hook set or do anything. I was popping my bait with that little one on. I might have found a little patch of them right here. A little school. That tree looks really, really good. This whole area does. Good fish. Here we go. Is that a crappie? It's a white bass. All right, that's the second wet I pulled out of this area. Not exactly what I'm looking for today. But that's cool, man. Little beautiful little white bass, descendant of the striper. Thanks for biting. Usually if there's one, there's a good amount of them somewhere out here. All right, so we're gonna walk our way down to this kind of rocky area, see what's really going on out here. There we go. Get down. Are we recording? Yes. Awesome. Little guy. But he's something, man. He's tiny. That's a fish. Thanks for biting, little fella. So I pulled him right out from this kind of rocky area. I kind of mentioned before, I don't know this area all that well, so I'm really kind of just casting around at areas I think would be good. I saw this chunkier rock leading out. I was kind of hoping there'd be some more of it out a bit deeper. And I think we might have found some. Let's see if we can pull another fish from that area. So that spot was about as fruitful as I thought it would be. Caught a couple fish, lost one. It is what it is. We are back with the last 30 minutes I have out here on the water. And fishing spot one, I'm already seeing stuff bust, dude. I think this water might have just needed a little bit of time. I had a dog. That's weird. You okay, pup? How long have you been out here? Hey, good girl, good girl. Let's go see if your owner's around here, maybe, right? Is she right up here? Over here, maybe? Is this your dog? Oh, okay. Yeah. She's nice. Yeah, she is nice to me. She let me pet her. All right, well, that family over there had a dog themselves. They just called that pup over there. I'm hoping, I'm imagining they're, oh, she's coming back. She doesn't look hurt, but I guess we'll just kind of hang out if she decides to stay in the area. Nobody comes and grabs her. Then we'll decide what to do. I'm a huge animal lover, so I'm not going to be able to just leave her here if she doesn't have anybody looking for her. My whole family is like that. I remember being real little and my dad watched a dog get hit by a car. And it was still alive. It had like a broken leg or something, and we wrapped it up in a blanket we had in the back of our car. We drove it to the hospital and took care of it. Oh, there's good fish. Nice one. Barely have her. Barely have her. On the lipless. Beautiful. Another nice size one. Easy, girl. I saw a lot of bait in this area, and she's got red lips too, man, from munching cross. Pretty one. She's got a little melanosis on her back. That like hyperpigmentation, blotchy bass syndrome, if you will. From what I've read about it, it's a viral infection, but I'm not a biologist by any means. We'll get her back in. Beautiful, beautiful fish though. I thought you were gonna jump right past those rocks. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, consider subscribing. It really does help push the channel. I appreciate it. Now let's Before we get into these baits, let's talk about that dog. So let me give y'all some closure on the dog situation. Basically, I ended up continuing to fish that area out for about 30 minutes after catching that fish. Didn't catch anything. However, within that time frame, the dog just ran off. I didn't know where she went. As I was walking back to my vehicle, I saw that family who I'd hollered out at, asking if it was their dog in the first place. They had that dog leashed up. I'm imagining they took her to the Humane Society. They had 2 dogs themselves. Looked like they liked animals like dogs. So hopefully she's in a better place. That's kind of where that story ends. It's for the best though. As soon as I got close, as soon as I touched that dog, really, I realized she had mange. Now, there's a couple different types of mange. One of them is very, very bad. It's called sarcoptic mange. I think that's how you pronounce that word. I've only read about it. However, it's contagious. It's obviously mange is caused by mites on the actual skin. Burrow India cause all that hair loss, all those sores, that baldness on the animal. It can be spread to people, sarcoptic mange can, and it can be very, very easily spread to dogs. And I got my boy Mars in the house, who I gotta look out for. And we're trying to keep your coat as luscious as it is right now. Now let's get into these lures. We fished several baits in this video, 3 different ones. So we had our tubes, our paddle tail, and our lipless crankbaits. All 3 baits I'm extremely confident in any time of the year, but really, really in cold weather. Those are my go-tos. I wasn't trying to mess around. I wasn't sure what to expect out of that area, and I really wanted to catch some fish. So first up, we had that Strike King Bitsy tube. Now I'm not gonna take weights today on these. I have talked about all of these baits before. I have taken all of their weights on this channel before, and I'll link a couple of them in the description if you really are curious about it. But we had that Strike King Bitsy tube. First up, first fish of the day on that 2.75 inch tube here. Big fan. We were fishing it in the classic green pumpkin, man. One of my go-to colors. I'm either throwing green pumpkin or green pumpkin red and green flake. I'm pretty simple when it comes to the color of these. Now, big fan. They can mimic bait fish fairly well, little gobies, that sort of thing. Any kind of bait fish this color. If you swim them, you can kind of drag them, get that craw effect out of them. They just get hit all year round. Now, I like to rig those with an Eagle Claw 1/8 ounce tube head jig. And these 2.75 inch tubes, they fit like a glove, man. I'm telling you, there's no room for air. There's no air pocket in there. It gives it incredibly awesome action. This is what they look like. You simply slide them up in that hollow tube, pop that eye right through, man. Awesome, awesome bait. It's got that right angle tie as well, which I prefer. It helps me jig them, helps me twitch them, helps me swim them very, very easily. Next up, we had that 2.5 inch Rapala, the Mayor, that's what it's called. I will link that video in the description. I just did that one, got really in depth on it. I don't have any of them left. I snagged the last one out there, and right before I dipped out of that area, I had only brought 2 with me that day, and I was fishing some fairly heavy cover, lost those in a hurry. Last but not least, we had the MVP of the video, my go-to lipless crankbait, the Cotton Cordell Super Spot. This is another one I fish a lot year-round, man. It just gets hit. It's an absolutely stellar bait. This is my favorite color pattern with them. It's called Wounded Shad. You got a little white, a little amber in there, black back, red eye. Very, very awesome color, awesome bait all around. I gotta say, this is a cheaper, it's considered cheaper in the grand scheme of lipless crankbaits. I prefer it to any other lipless crankbait I've ever fished. So absolutely awesome bait. I also have another video where I go really, really in depth on these and the difference between them and a couple other different lipless crankbaits. But great baits all around. I'm gonna keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple. Be good to yourselves, guys, be good to each other, and get some good fish on out there, my friends. It's about to get really, really cold in my area. We have that the Arctic Blast, I believe it's called. Actually, let's fact check this really quick. Okay, so I didn't make that up. It's called the Arctic Cold Outbreak, and it's coming, man. It's coming for us. So hopefully that doesn't mess things up too bad. We're gonna fish through it. It might get interesting. We're gonna have to really, really bundle up, use some spinning gear rather than casting, because those guides are gonna be ice blocks by the end of it. Be good to yourselves, guys. Peace.